Alright, well, I wanted to make this video real quick because you guys know that I am all about natural healers, and I have been doing research into neutropenia ever since our daughter was diagnosed with autoimmune neutropenia at 15 months old. She did become neutropenic after a round of 6 vaccinations, and so, you know, just so everybody out there knows, that is a possibility of something you may not think about that can happen. So just take that from a mother who's lived through it, and if you want information about that, please be sure to contact me. So anyway, on the topic of neutropenia, it is very, very hard to find natural help. It's insanely hard to find help. And one of the only things, well, the only thing that I've technically seen to help boost your neutrophil levels is Neupogen, filigrism. I don't even say that right, but it's how it's spelled. Filigrism injections, G-CSF factor, which comes with its own major dangers and side effects that we weren't aware of when they started our daughter on Neupogen. So that's something else too. There are many studies out there. You have to dig for them. But there are many studies out there on many different places and journals and things that are that let you know that there is increased risk for children to develop leukemia already if they're neutropenic. And when they use Neupogen, their risk is increased for leukemia by quite a bit. And that is in several studies and several journals and things. You just have to dig for them to find them. I've been digging for 2 years, and I've only found a few that are actually out there. So you have to really be careful when you make these choices of what you're going to use to try to help your child. And a lot of times when you're in the doctor's office, you don't get a lot of that information. You're in shock. You're going through, oh my goodness, my child has this. This is something I have to deal with from now on. Like, I have to give my kid injections now. I mean, it's really scary. You know, we've been giving Lily Neupogen injections for a long time, and it's left me with, how in the world do I do this without having to use medication? How do we naturally approach neutropenia, which has been a hard thing to try to figure out. But that brings me to my to what I wanted to share with you guys as something you should, you know, start trying. You know, as you know, just even in conjunction with Neupogen, and then seeing how the numbers go, because you can always decrease the levels of Neupogen until you're able to wean, and see how your numbers keep going. But this is called turkey tail. Let's see. Can you make sure? I don't know if it's focusing, but. And there are a lot of lookalikes. This is what the underside looks like. It is a type of mushroom, but there are no spores on the bottom, as you can see, and it's very, very thin, like papery, brittle. These grow on old logs and all kinds of things like that. And there, like I said, there are many lookalikes. Here's one of the lookalikes, which they actually do have their own medicinal uses, but not half as important or whatever as the actual turkey tail. This is an imitation. This is a lookalike. But you see the back is very different. So here is the actual turkey tail, and here is the one that is not. So you can see how easily confused they can be. But if you look at the back, that will help clear up the confusion. So anyway, so there's real turkey tail. And turkey tail has been used for a long time, for centuries and centuries in Japan. And it is used for many things. And, sorry guys, I take lots of notes, so, let's see here. It is called, the Coriolis versicolor, is what the technical name for it is. Also known as turkey tail, or, also known as cloud mushroom to Native American people. But it is a potent superfood for immune function. It's, like I said, it's grown on most hardwoods all over the world. It's an antimicrobial, antiviral, and anti-tumor. So, also people out there who are, you know, suffering from different types of cancers and things, this could be something you could look into as well. And, but also, as I said, Neupogen increasing risk and neutropenia increasing risk of leukemia. Not only will this help boost your white blood cell levels, but will also decrease your risk of cancer. So it's kind of like not only helping come up with a way to do this without Neupogen, but it's also a way to repair some of the damage done to the body because of Neupogen. So, just do your research into this and you'll see what I'm talking about. Let's see. It contains 2 different types of polysaccharides, a PSK and PSP, that have been shown to inhibit the growth of cancer cells. It's been used in Japan, like I said, since the 1980s for treating several types of cancer. Let's see here. It is referred to in China as Yunzi, Yunzi, or as the clown mushroom. Shin. Let's see, it helps with your spirit, which is your Shin, and your energy, which is your Qi, and your strength, your Jing, according to them. But more so on the actual, I guess what it does, it says evidence from human clinical trials using PSK indicates anti-tumor activity, particularly for stomach, esophageal, lung, and breast cancers. It is a best-selling anti-cancer drug in Japan, where it is currently used in cancer treatments along with surgeries and other methods. But it cannot be approved by the FDA because it has no scientific reason why it works, because they can't. Here's what happens: is it works because of certain sugars and proteins, and the structure is not the same from the way I understand it. It's not the same alignment of it every time you test a different piece of turkey tail, but as a whole in use, when you use them, you get those it's hard to say. It's like there's something where they can't regulate it because they can't make it exactly the same from batch to batch for them. So that's, I guess, what I'm trying to say, if that makes sense. Okay, it also contains the polysaccharide PSP, a potent antiviral agent that works primarily as a biological response to infection and diseases, and can be specifically protective against oncoviruses such as Hep C and the human papillomavirus, HPV, cervical cancer. So let me repeat that. It can actually help supposedly treat and prevent HPV. So like Yersinia, another natural form of something that can help prevent and treat human papillomavirus without having to get a Gardasil. So that's personal opinion after tons of research. So you take it with what you want to take it with, but for those of us who know the truth, y'all know what I'm talking about. This is also recommended as a boost for the immune system directly after chemotherapy and radiation, which is what Neupogen is also used for. So once again, these two things seem to mimic each other, one being natural and one having tons of bad side effects and other possibilities of cancer. So what it does, the turkey tail actually increases your natural killer cells, okay? And your natural killer cells play a huge role in neutropenia. Let's see here. Your natural killer cells, your lymphocyte, your neutrophil depletion impairs natural killer cell maturation function and homeostasis. So, let's see. I'll tell you where I got this information, just so you know. One of these came from PubMed, and it says the role of neutrophils as key regulations of NK cell function was confirmed in patients with severe congenital neutropenia and autoimmune neutropenia. In addition to their direct antimicrobial activity, mature neutrophils are thus endowed with immunoregulatory functions that are conserved across species. These findings reveal novel types of cooperation between cells of the innate immune system and prompt examination of NK cell functional deficiencies in patients suffering from neutropenia-associated diseases. A lot of these studies tell you that when you increase your NK cells, you're increasing your lymphocyte, your white blood cell count. But it also plays a role when you increase that. It helps increase your neutrophil levels, which is your other main white blood cell. So it would seem to me it would be a very good idea to try turkey tail if you are looking for a more natural, less side effect option to Neupogen. And I would think any parent would be, just because you don't want the risk of leukemia. And it said that prolonged use of Neupogen that can cause leukemia is anything more than 10 to 14 days. And our poor child's been on this crap for 2 years. So, but the ways that you would use turkey tail is you could make it, what you want to do is simmer it for at least an hour to 2 hours. And not boil, but simmer. And that'll extract all the medicinal immune boosting qualities from it into your tea, or you can even put it in your coffee, or you can make tinctures from this, extracts. You can use it powdered form and make capsules. There are many ways that you can use this in order to increase your lymphocytes and neutrophil levels, and be able to naturally boost your neutrophils without having to take Neupogen. So these are just things that I, try to come up with and try to share with people as I find things. My husband actually is always digging in the yard, trying to help me find, what's on our property. We have 10 acres, and just seeing what all we have on the property that is very useful to things. And he's been doing a lot of research into mushrooms and things lately, because there's tons of mushrooms. This is Lily, by the way. This is my daughter with autoimmune neutropenia. But, anyway, so this is turkey tail, as I said, and it's easily distinguished from its lookalikes because the back does not have the spores. It has a nice flat back. It looks kind of like paper. It feels like a breakable little paper or something. But these grow on most hardwoods all around the world. And, so it's very useful. So anyway, I will do more research into this to be able to help folks.